The Oscar winner playing Star Trek's new captain is unlike any you've seen before, says Starfleet Academy showrunner. The Star Trek universe has introduced dozens of Starfleet captains over nearly 6 decades. From the cool logic of Spock to the swagger of Kirk, the moral fortitude of Picard, and the fiery compassion of Janeway. Each new captain has reflected the era they were created in, expanding Gene Roddenberry's vision of humanity's best self among the stars. But according to Starfleet Academy showrunner Alex Kurtzman, the next commanding officer to lead a Star Trek series will be unlike any you've seen before. Even more intriguing, this new leader will be played by an Oscar-winning actor whose casting has already sent shockwaves through the fandom. And if early buzz is any indication, this might just be Star Trek's boldest captain since the Next Generation introduced Jean-Luc Picard. A new captain for a new generation, Starfleet Academy, the upcoming Paramount Plus series set in the 32nd century, the same timeline as Star Trek, Discovery, promises to blend the wonder of classic Star Trek with the youthful energy of a coming-of-age drama. The show will follow a new class of cadets learning to balance friendship, duty, and discovery in a galaxy that's rebuilding after centuries of uncertainty. But the soul of every Star Trek show lies in its captain, the moral compass and emotional anchor who defines the series' tone. When rumors began swirling that Paramount had cast an Academy Award winner as the Academy's commanding officer, fans immediately began speculating. Who could it be? Viola Davis? Rami Malek? Mahershala Ali? Cate Blanchett? Last week, those questions were answered when Paramount confirmed that Oscar winner Jessica Chastain would star as Captain Alexandra Wolf, the first head of Starfleet Academy to appear as a lead in a live-action series. And according to Kurtzman, she's not your typical Starfleet leader. Greater than Captain Wolf isn't the kind of leader who gives rousing speeches on the bridge, Kurtzman explained in an interview with Variety. She's brilliant, flawed, and incredibly human. She carries the weight of a galaxy trying to rebuild itself, and she doesn't always make the right call. That's what makes her fascinating. The first professor captain in Star Trek history. Unlike Kirk, Sisko, or Pike, Captain Wolf won't be commanding a starship every week. Instead, she'll be heading up the most prestigious training center in the Federation, essentially the Hogwarts of Star Trek. Described as equal parts professor, mentor, and soldier, Wolf's job is to shape the next generation of officers in a time when Starfleet's ideals are being tested. The 32nd century, as established in Discovery, is still recovering from the burn, a galaxy-wide disaster that nearly destroyed warp travel. The Federation is back, but it's fragile, uncertain, and morally gray. That's where Wolf comes in. She's the bridge between the old and the new, Kurtzman said. She represents Starfleet's ideals, but also knows the cost of those ideals. Her lessons are often harsh because she's lived through the worst version of the future. She's not teaching optimism, she's teaching resilience. This shift in tone is what makes Wolf's character feel so revolutionary. For decades, Star Trek captains have been defined by idealism. But Captain Wolf, much like Chastain's past roles in Zero Dark 30 and Interstellar, brings a grounded intensity, a woman who's seen too much to believe in easy answers. Jessica Chastain's Star Trek transformation. Casting Chastain was a coup for Paramount. An actor known for fierce intelligence and emotional complexity, she brings gravitas to every project she joins. But according to insiders, she wasn't just chosen for her name. She was chosen because she loves Star Trek. She's a genuine fan, said co-showrunner Noga Landa. Jessica grew up watching The Next Generation with her dad. When we talked to her about the moral grayness of the 32nd century, she immediately understood what we wanted to do. She said, Starfleet isn't just uniforms and phasers, it's belief. And belief is fragile. That's Captain Wolf in a nutshell. Chastain's preparation reportedly included months of training with the show's consultants, physicists, linguists, and even NASA advisors. The production team also worked with her to create a costume that blends modern practicality with classic Starfleet elegance. Gone are the bright reds and blues. Wolf's uniform is a deep slate gray with subtle gold accents, symbolizing both discipline and the glimmer of hope she's fighting to protect. Not the perfect captain. And that's the point. When Star Trek Discovery introduced Michael Burnham, fans saw a more emotionally complex, sometimes divisive protagonist. Captain Wolf pushes that idea even further. She's not Starfleet's golden child. She's not flawless. And in the words of Kurtzman, she might be the most morally ambiguous captain we've ever created. In the show's pilot, Wolf reportedly faces a major ethical crisis, whether to expel a promising cadet who breaks the Prime Directive or protect them because she believes their actions were justified. This central tension between idealism and pragmatism will run through the entire first season. Wolf doesn't see herself as a hero, Chastain teased in a recent interview. She's not trying to live up to Kirk or Picard. She's just trying to make sure these kids survive long enough to become better than her. That self-awareness, that exhaustion beneath the professionalism, could make Wolf one of Star Trek's most relatable characters ever, especially to viewers who've grown up in an era of uncertainty. Starfleet Academy's big vision, the show itself is aiming to do for Star Trek what Strange New Worlds did so successfully: bring back the wonder, but with a modern voice. Each episode will reportedly follow a group of cadets, a mix of human and alien species, as they tackle moral dilemmas, cosmic mysteries, and interpersonal challenges. The writers have hinted at emotionally intelligent science fiction, balancing classroom drama with galaxy-scale storytelling. Think The West Wing meets The Expanse, but with Star Trek's signature optimism struggling to stay alive. And at the center of it all stands Captain Wolf, a leader who doesn't just teach warp theory and ethics, but survival. The legacy of Starfleet captains. Every new captain in Star Trek history has redefined what leadership looks like. Kirk embodied raw charisma and courage. Picard represented intellect and diplomacy. Sisko taught us about faith and duty. Janeway proved resilience and compassion could coexist. Archer showed us humanity's first steps into the unknown. Pike reminded us that leadership can be kind. Now, Wolf appears poised to carry that torch in a new way, as a mentor figure in a fractured age, where the Federation's principles must be relearned from scratch. Chastain's casting also signals Star Trek's growing appeal to top-tier Hollywood talent. With Paul Giamatti joining Starfleet Academy as the rumored main antagonist, a former admiral turned political radical, the show is shaping up to be both intellectually rich and dramatically charged. Why Wolf could redefine Star Trek's future, the 32nd century setting gives the writers unprecedented freedom. There's no continuity constraint, no overlapping timelines with the established canon. The galaxy is unfamiliar again, dangerous, mysterious, filled with rediscovered technologies and lost species. And at the center of this new frontier is an academy built to rebuild faith in exploration. Captain Wolf's leadership style reflects that mission. She doesn't order her cadets to obey. She challenges them to think. She doesn't hand out answers. She demands introspection. It's leadership through vulnerability, not command. As Kurtzman explained, greater than every Star Trek captain has represented a version of humanity's